I sold all my XDTE, which I loved, for a long time for WPAY. $500,000 in WPAY. I'm going to go through why and the mechanics of margin to the tits, which is a term that you all endear me for, but versus non-marginable like WPAY. Now, Robinhood is the whore of all exchanges, and, well, they'll drop the margin requirements shortly. I'm a big fan of Robinhood, even though, well, it is what it is. Let's move on. WPAY, all in, and why? Well, I like the S&P 500, okay, more so than NASDAQ, more so than anything else. And the truth is, that's why I liked XDTE, but XDTE is a covered call fund. Covered call funds are levered to the downside. Whenever we talk about money here on my channel, and thank you to all the new subscribers. I never ask, but apparently you subscribe when you smell money. I'm never going to pull out a spreadsheet or what if or do a retire on Ulti, Misty, or any of them dumb funds. I am here to be a contractor of money. And that's why everyone follows the Oracle. Now, I am not big in the algorithm. They'll unsubscribe you. They won't show you my videos. They shun me for the truth. But I am money. Welcome. Let's whip out the gangbang of calculators. The question here is, well, do you want to begin with what's really in WPAY? A breakdown like no other douche tuber can do. No hamburger rolling on the beach. Nobody. I know you're all excited for the calculators. Hold on. Now, I know that you probably can't see this, so I'm going to tell you what WPAY really is. We're going to do a little read aloud action. You ready? From here, let's do this. What is in it? And you'd be shocked to see the holding when I break it down for you. It's awesome. Go ahead.
Puzzle piece WPY's real identity explained. Keycap 1 is almost equal to 70% S&P 500 exposure. The blue chip backbone, about 70% of WPY's holdings are companies that are also in the S&P 500. Think APL, MSFT, AMZN, Meta, NVDA, GOGL, TSLA, BRKB, AVGO, AMD, and FLX.
Hold on. 70% are S&P exposure. The blue chip backbone. 70% of WPAY's holdings are companies. If you stay to the end, you know I never give you a disclaimer, right? We're going to watch what happened to a douchebag YouTuber that gave a disclaimer because he's such a weak, limp dick. But money up front, funny in the rear. That's what they say, right? I don't think it's funny.
That means most of WPY is made of the same elite companies that drive the traditional U.S. stock market, the big, stable, profitable giants. Right arrow translation. WPY's foundation is mainstream large cap America, the same core that powers SPY.
Ah, and we're paying what, between 50 and 88 cents a week? I know it's new, blah, 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 but the capital's appreciating. That means you don't have to reinvest a single penny. You could live off of it. Yeah. Wait till you see what I do to this douche. The Eugen. Sounds like a contraceptive device. Read on. All right, where are we? So 80% of it is NASDAQ exposure. Here, we're going to jump to it. I'm not a fan of the Mag 7, but I love the weaponized core. So let's go ahead. We're going to have it just read a little bit here for us. Go ahead, read aloud, you dodo.
Is almost equal to 80% NASDAQ exposure. The growth engine, roughly 80% of WPY's holdings are also in the NASDAQ 100, the more tech-focused index.
Yep.
These are your innovation leaders: NVDA, AMD, PLTR, Coin, MSTR, etc. High beta, fast-moving growth, and AI names. Right arrow translation. WPY leans heavily toward technology and AI, not industrials or banks. It's built to move fast when innovation runs hot.
You might say, well, what happens when things go down?
Keycap 3.
Shut up. What happens when things go down? Well, if you held all the stocks and they went down, what happens? They go down. But unlike covered call funds like YMAX, okay, that never recover, Well, your NAV just never comes back. Your balance goes down. Don't you want your balance to go up? Why do you believe this crap they told you on Wall Street that's been fed into us from the generations before us that, if you want income, you got to reinvest some of it back? My financial advisor told me that. I was like, no, that's not how it works. I'll tell you how it works. Dividends are a reward, not a penalty. Okay? If you're trading and you're earning the money, you know what? And you have a good strategy, well, you pay me from the NAV and you keep trading like little goddamn elves, okay? And when it comes time to pay me again, the NAV built up so you can pay back what you know, it pisses me off so much because, I'm glad the yield max bubble is ending. I'm happier than anybody, okay? They won't even come on my show, not Radioactive Mike or Mike Kung Pao. He looks pissed in the interviews. Jay put the hat on him, boy. All right, continue on, and then we're going to jump to it. What we want to know here is, all right, you got a certain amount of money, right? What happens if you margin stack first and then buy your WPAY? That means put your marginable securities in, use all your cash to buy stuff that you can borrow against, and then put your margin heavies, your 100%ers like WPAY in last. Yes, I've done that too, but it leaves you exposed. We're going to do side-by-side comparison of both because all that matters is the income. First, we're looking at what's in it. Under the hood, lift her skirt, make sure she ain't a dude.
Is almost equal to 60 to 65% Mag 7 plus AI/Vortech cluster, the weaponized core. About 2/3 of WPY is concentrated in the Magnificent 7, APL, MSFT, AMZN.
So you're getting the Mag 7, plus you're getting some S&P core components, plus I'm going to kill somebody. Okay, so I like PLTR. I'm a big fan of it, but I don't like PLTY because I got capped in the ass hard with a $7 footlong. They'll probably never give out a $7 dividend again. I lost $50,000 to collect a $36,000 dividend. I unsubscribed from those emails. I don't need that anymore. I like this instead of covered calls because it's levered, but in both directions. To the upside and the downside, that's fine. It'll move up and down like a stock, except it'll pay me every week. Isn't that what we all wanted? Isn't that why we got into these funds? But a single one is dangerous. I do have one portfolio that has just the Robinhood HOOW. I treat it as if I own the stock, except it's the ghetto version. It's cheaper and pays me every week. Okay? The other one I have in another account is just PLTW. Again, it's like the stock, but it's a ghetto version. It's cheaper and pays me every week, but I get the growth in both directions, not just crippled on the downside, crippled on the downside. Can you say MSTY? Can you say ULTY? Take it from a guy who's had tens of thousands of shares of those when it was the good old days at $44 and I escaped. Or Ulti when it leveled off and they changed the prospectus at $10. And then I tried it again at $6.41. A month later it was $5.41. And down she goes like a hooker on a Thailand holiday. And we're getting to Thailand next. Okay, we're going to get to Eugene Vasquez and his disclaimers. And he's sick. I guess a little too much with the lady boys over there. Let's keep going. Let's keep rocking.
NVDA, Meta, GOGL, TSLA, plus AI warfare/data assets like PLTR, MSTR, and Coin.
All right, shut up. I had it with you. Next, let's rock. All right, so I've done all kinds of math and calculations. You're going to love it. So previously on our show, here's the oracle, right? $346,000 on margin on a 495 account, right? So what is this? This is stacked. First, just like I taught you, we put in our low margin requirements. We had, what is that? Ugh. All right, I had you on pause. I don't know what happened. So let's just look at this. This is the margined version. I had $343,000 on margin. What I really cared about was my XDTE. My XDTE I bought first as a cash layer, margin stacking. You notice that 496, 490, this keeps happening. Okay, so I don't want any more interruptions. So I had 343 on margin. Most people let that accumulate, right, and pay off their margin. That's like, that'll take a lifetime. I do it in a way I could eject everything and close margin in one fell swoop. This is an older image. Because my XDTE, my base, was 494,000, the same as my portfolio amount. Okay? Everything else was on margin. So that means if I ever wanted to wipe out this $343,000 margin at one time, all I would have to do is sell anything else that equals the 343 margin amount except my base XDTE. I designed it that way. Now, you look at like LQD, those are bonds. That's just for broker optics when you're on high margin. SGov and T-bill were where I would store my weekly and then ongoing dividends. Why? So you could see them. So you have containment. You know, if you had Ulti and you know you put $60,000 in it and it was down by $4,000, but you put all your dividends in T-bill and you could see them, and you collect $3,000 in T-bills in your T-bill, right? You could look and say, oh, wow, I'm losing money. Not be delusional. But if at any point I want to pay off my margin and stop using all of this, I just sell. I keep whatever profits I accumulated from my dividends and sell off all the stuff that don't matter. Okay, like $44,000 worth of iGold. Okay, and then over here, $44,000 worth of LQD. But what's critical here, now we're going to get to the money part that you all came for. All right. So I had $496,000. I could either margin stack it all like this and have $800,000 market value, or sell everything, go non-marginable, and go all in on the degenerate index. If you stayed this long in the live chat or the comments, just post DGen Index. DGen Index. I know someone's listening. I'm not wasting my time on a Sunday. So, I made this decision with the calculators. Let's bring them out like hookers on a holiday. All three of them. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, let's take a look at this. Previously, I was able to divide up my money. Let's look at everything else as smokescreen. I was really able to divide up 11,800 shares of XDTE and only 4,300 shares of XPAY. And I had full exposure to the broker, to the markets, and I owed money. I understand about using margin to the tits. I was the first one that made Marge famous. Make sure you subscribe for more tits. I'd show them to you now. Those are beautiful. But we're busy. Money up front, funny in the rear. At the end, we're going to get the dumbgen. Eugen, the dumb capitalist. Okay? Don't listen to it. We'll get to him. Watch what I did. I sold everything. XDTE everything. Let's get to the hooker calculators. So, if I kept my margin exposure, I would have 29, forget all the little things, the LQD and the iGold, they don't pay shit. Okay, so we don't calculate them. We count an XDTE and the 4,400 shares of WPAY. So let's add these two together. This was on a weekly basis, plus 2904. Okay. Now, diversification, my ass. We got two calculators here. This one is 9,000 shares. No margin, 9,000 shares. No XDTE, nothing, because I had to put it all into WPAY. We're talking all in. So let's go like this. On the left, what you are seeing is the result of having more than $250,000 on margin. Okay? And this is highly risky. You have $800,000 in the market. To earn more money in WPAY, non-marginable, it's all mine. Okay? I am an owner now, not a builder. I'm going to make $6,000 a week. That's at 66 cents. There'll be higher and lower weeks. We're not counting on that. I do not have to reinvest because my balance will grow. This is how you build wealth. This is why I sold everything for WPAY. Do the math. For so long, I was getting 21 cents a share. Now it's going down on XDTE. Okay? And, well, it's an index, the S&P 500, all that. I like it. but I've been here for a long time, and I watch what happens, and I love XDTE. Shout out to the XDTE Army. But honestly, XPAY from Round Hill is better than XDTE at recovery. What sucks about it is they don't pay you weekly. We all like getting paid weekly. If you're at XDTE and WPAY, tell me in the comments, because that combo pays you twice a week. If you're in XDTE, let's say you're in WPAY and some of the individual ones, you get paid twice a week from Round Hill. No covered calls. I love it. They're not doing YouTube interviews. They're actually doing something with our money. These covered call funds, it's like if you have to reinvest and the fund is going down and losing value, that blows a hole in your portfolio the size of the Titanic. Just your zeros appropriately, okay? But I'm going to tell you something. Right off the bat, I'd rather make $6,000 than $5,100 a week. But to make this $5,100, I was so exposed. Look, I had a debt of $343,000. For what? Diversification? For what? So adjust your zeros. Because right now, at this moment, forget that. I'm making more money with WPAY. Even if they pay 51 cents, I don't care. I'm blowing away XDTE, and I'm capital appreciating out the door. Unbelievable. Got a nice basket. Nice bush, babe. That's so... I don't know if a bush is back in. I haven't encountered bush. Anyway, I like that, I like that just slapping clean. All right, that's not what we need. What is this, about WPAY? Yes, we were making me thumbnails. So let's look at this. The S&P 500 XDTE, right? I'll tell you something. This works great. But XPAY works better than it at recovering. Why? Before the tariffs, before the Powell speech way back, a year ago, whenever it was, I watched XDTE, QDTE, and RDTE all get hit. They all got knocked into the 30s. XPAY didn't. It got knocked down, but it was higher up. Now let's talk about who recovered. Well, XDTE recovered all the way to $44 from the low of $39. Great job. I always said that QDTE and RDTE suck. And the reason I say that, is, and look at XPAY. XPAY never went into the 30s. Beast mode, pays 95 cents a month. Flat out, they tell you straight thing at the beginning of the year. Whether they tell you that, it's return to capital, whatever, that's for tax. These guys have done it right. Because your capital is growing, your balance, your NAV is going up. Look, it's up $10, almost $10 a share in the last 6 months. And they've been paying out $1 a month. This is what you always wanted, isn't it? I always wanted this. I didn't even know that it went up almost $10 in the last 6 months. Compare that to XDTE, it went up $3.66. Again, it's recovering, but not at this rate. And this is paying out. So who said we can't have growth and dividends? Who told you this? Fund managers who can't trade, that's who. Anyway, so the reason why I don't like QDTE and RDTE, you'll see they're still down in the 30s, right? Hold on. Because they suck. They took the template that worked over the S&P 500. Don't forget, XPAY is done differently, That's a different process of making money. They took this great template, and I watched them put it on QDTE. It didn't work. And all the douche tubers, some that are not even here anymore, like that weak beta male, the young entrepreneur investor. He went back to washing cars. He thought he had a detailing business. Wash my car, bitch. Anyway, so this one just sucks. Look, they're still in the 30s. Why? They took a template that worked for XDTE and they tried to place it over the other two indexes and bombed out. That's why I don't buy those. You always wanted to know, now you know. This is the best out of all of them. This one is better, but who wants to get paid monthly? It's not marginable. But I just showed you that you can make a hell of a lot of money without margin. And the other thing, All right, so now I have 9,096 shares. Now, this is no margin debt at all. 9,096. I don't know what's going to pay. Okay, times 66 cents. This is more than XDTE ever paid me in a week. You want to do it by 50 cents? And this has grown since the day it came out. I like what it's made of. I don't give disclaimers. Okay, times point. Let's go 50 cents, right? More than XDTE ever paid me. You ready for the big one? I'm all in. If we come up here, look at the difference. I want you to all calculate this in your world and talk to me in the comments, please. I have nothing to gain by making these videos other than trying to teach you, and my subscriber count suddenly started growing. I don't know how, but I guess whatever. I mean, real money makes sense, right? So look at the difference. I have cash balance. You know what that means? When they pay me that money this week, it's mine. I don't reinvest. I gave them $400,000. I now reap the rewards. I am an owner. Are you an owner now? Or are you still a builder? It's okay to be a builder. If you're a builder, you have to margin stack. But I'll tell you, I'd rather have it all be mine, and I just showed you it's possible, rather than having a mortgage. See if that's the equivalent of what this is. What do you think? At $5,000 a week even, that's going to pay off fast? What if there's a market downturn and you're down $75,000? This wishy-washy douchebag bitch crybaby almost got his channel taken down because of his scumbag disclaimer. He has no spine, no backbone. I personally threw him out of my Discord for copying all my shit. If you have no original thought or content and you just want to be in the middle because you want to be liked by everybody, you're a douchebag. He always gave this stupid disclaimer. Oh, with these disclaimers, let's hear what happened to Douche Gin.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this
Hey,
video,
here I am. He used to open up and say, hey, let's please the algorithm gods. Please hit the thumbs up. And here's my disclaimer and some financial advice. If you go to court, right, you think that you're going to say, but Your Honor, I said it wasn't financial advice. They'll say, Eugene, sit down and shut the fuck up. This is why we took Kamir off YouTube, for lying to people and misleading. Go ahead, douche gin.
Over why I've been MIA from YouTube and what to expect going forward. So this should be a quick video. I know I may sound a little off. I am still recovering from a sickness that I got. But first off,
yeah, ladyboy bars are a bitch, bro. Stay out of there. Stop the making believe it's a vagina. Okay? You can't tell her to roll over on her stomach and close her legs real tight, bro. Welcome to Bangkok. Hold on.
everybody who reached out to me via
Here
X
comes
or
the ass
Boston
kissing.
Social, asking where I was on YouTube. Your concern.
He's such a dick lick. Okay, Eric, thank you so much. I'm so nice. Have a nice day. He's neutral about anything. Never says a bad word. He's just fucking neutered. This is the epitome of beta maleness. It's what we've come to. This is what... let him talk a little bit.
Concerns are deeply, deeply appreciated. I am back and expect to continue making quality educational content here on YouTube for high yield ETFs, investing.
Do you hear how long he's talked already? And he hasn't said what the fuck the topic was? Okay, I hate when YouTubers do this, alright? They just yap away in the beginning of the fucking video. I mean, if I'm here, I want to see something, show me what the title says.
Market news. Alright, so here's what happened. A few weeks ago, I had a video right here, new future Roundhill Weekly Pay ETFs revealed. It was flagged as harmful or dangerous content, right? And this was this happened September 26th. So I appealed this, basically said, hey, like this is just me reviewing publicly listed information. I don't know what is harmful or dangerous about these investing products. This is all publicly available.
Duh. Does this say something to you? Duh. They rejected his fucking appeal. They knocked Camille off twice. He ain't coming back to YouTube. He's already been branded the bastard child of Cambodia.
Available through multiple brokerages, right? Or could be, in the future once they release the funds. And it seems like the person on the other end, because, they use an algorithm. YouTube uses an algorithm to scan these first, and then
he's such a fucking douchebag, douche-jig.
And they'll block them, and then when you appeal, it's supposedly, quote-unquote, a real person reviewing this. So that, quote-unquote, real person reviewed my video and still deemed it as harmful or dangerous content. Now, I read this whole policy front to back, you know, everything, and more harmful or dangerous content. Okay?
Second one.
This one was a weekly portfolio update. And again, the moment I uploaded that video, within, I think, 30 minutes, that video was taken down.
Wow.
Which was a total bummer because I was really excited for that video. It doesn't even really matter anymore, right? It doesn't even really matter. But it seems like the disclaimer stuff doesn't even really matter anymore, right? It doesn't help or doesn't protect channels as much as, you know, YouTube creators would say or would want.
Okay, all you dumbasses with your disclaimers, you're not a financial advisor, this is not legal or tax advice. All you have been fucking clowned, okay? And I told you from the beginning, it's how it is. Fuck you, Eugene, you suck. I can't tell you the feeling it is to be able to withdraw your dividends. Most people who are margined to the tits, when I was margined like that, you know I couldn't withdraw. You know you can't withdraw when you're all margined out. And then you're in these yield max funds where you have to recover from ex-dividend date. Otherwise, you didn't really earn the money. It's like withdrawing from your brokerage account. It's just ridiculous. So a lot of yield max YouTubers have given up. And frankly, I'm happy. And I want that Amy to stop catfishing the world. Nobody wants to eat Amy's apples. We've seen her. Even Kung Pao, what's his name? SoCal Steve-O with the eyebrows. He sold all his Y Max and shit. And he's a big show. He was over there sucking it at the Yield Max convention. He was like, hi, remember him? So I hope I answered a lot of questions. You could laugh at all their disclaimers. And I think, let me just hit a couple of people on the head that I never talked about before. Doug the retirement guy, asshole. Practically a beggar. Okay? Who else have I not talked about? I can't pick on retards. That's one thing. I won't go that far. So never ask me to talk about Todd Akins. Because he's a fucking retard and it's unfair fight. So if you enjoy the content, subscribe, come back for more. Money up front, funny in the rear. Not in the way that Rod, retire on dividends, takes it in the rear. Not that way, no. And not like come here. Don't come here yourself. Margin yourself to the tits. But do it logically. You see, I do containment protocols. Okay, I do ejection, where I can sell off a chunk if I need to, something I don't want that's just there for optics. My strategies are invincible. That's why they call me a legend. I have no idea.